Hi guys, welcome back to the Art of Server. So in today's video, we're going to continue on in attempting to get this Icy Dock unit into the HP Z820. So in today's video, we're going to be working on modifying the Icy Dock unit so that we can finally get this working in the HP Z820. So in the last video, I tried to dry fit this into the HP Z820 and I discovered a couple of things. First, that the very back of, let me see here, just to kind of be more accurate. Yeah, right over here, this corner right here bumps up against the DIMM slots. So this thing is pretty much at the, like, you know, as far in as it can go. There is no additional, I guess, clearance. I thought at that time, well, maybe, just maybe, it will still fit. And since that video, one thing I did was I slid this thing all the way back into the HP Z820, had this up against the DIMM slots right here. And I don't know if you can tell, but the HP Z820 has holes for screws in this area right here. And so I used a Sharpie pen and I marked the circles where those holes would be. So it's like right there and right here. And you'll notice that it's not exactly where the screw hole is here. It's actually offset a little bit, maybe like about 1/8 of an inch offset. All right. And so that means that even if I drill the additional holes exactly as it is lined up right now, this unit is still not going to fit. I need to actually drill the holes a little bit offset, about 1/8 of an inch this way. And so I'm going to be doing the same thing over here. So actually the pins that lock this unit into the HP Z820 are on this side. There's no pins here. There's just a couple of holes for you to install the screws if you wanted to do that. Yeah, at first I thought maybe I just had to drill additional holes over here and have them perfectly aligned with these holes that are already there. That's not going to work out. I actually have to like drill additional new holes that's a little bit offset to this side, to the rear. And that means that this whole unit is actually going to be sitting maybe 1/8 of an inch, I guess, further out than it normally would. But that's actually perfectly okay, because when I was looking at when I slid this thing as far in as I could, where it was bumping up against the DIMM modules over here, the way this was sitting from the outside perspective looked like it was sitting flush already. So I don't think that 1/4 of an inch of this thing sticking out is really going to matter or be completely unnoticeable, really. Okay, so that was one thing I figured out. Then the other thing was, okay, I needed additional holes here and here. And you can probably maybe see, I don't know if you can see it in the camera here, but I've actually already kind of punched a couple of dents in here to mark where I'm going to be drilling holes. And the way I did that, by the way, I tried a couple of different ways. First, I slid this thing up against the pins right here, and then I marked where the pins were making contact. And then I tried to trace a line from that position over, and that got me kind of close. But then I actually noticed something that allowed me to get a little bit more accurate. As I'm sliding this thing in and out of the HP Z820, the pins were actually kind of scraping along the sides and leaving kind of a slight mark here. And I noticed that that basically it was kind of tracing where the pins are. And I noticed that was a little bit off compared to the markings that I had made. And so I basically decided to put this back in the Z820, and then I applied some pressure to kind of press the pins down up against this face of the Icy Dock unit, and just kind of let it scratch, you know, using those pins to kind of scratch some lines in here. And that would basically give me exactly where the pins are located. And so I used that, and then just kind of marked a vertical line this way. And so at those cross marks is where they cross basically is where I basically punched put a dent in there to mark where I'm going to be drilling. So we'll see how it goes. You know, worst case, I make the holes bigger. You know, the HP Z820 does not use screws to lock this 5 1/4 inch stuff. It just has pins that locks into the holes. So I can just make the holes bigger. That might make it a little bit loose. I don't know, you know, we're just gonna have to try this out and see how it goes. So I basically did the same thing on the other side here. So you can see that there are kind of like these scratches along, and that's basically just the pins kind of, you know, marking the wall here. And then again, I punched a couple of dents here where I'm going to be drilling. One thing that's going to be a little bit complicated is that one of the holes here is in this indentation. I don't really know what this is for and why. It's only on this side right here. The metal is kind of punched in, and so one of the holes is going to be here. So that's going to be a little bit hard to drill. I'll try my best and see how that goes. But anyway, that's the plan. So we're going to be drilling, what's that, 6 holes on this side. And we have to remake these 2 holes a little bit offset to that side. And then we're going to drill 6 holes on this side here as well. Now, before I get drilling, I think, you know, unlike my first attempt at modifying the Z820, I'm going to actually disassemble this, take all the electronics, take the SAS connectors and that kind of stuff out of this casing first. So we're going to start with a disassembly of the Icy Dock unit. All right, so I think the first thing I need to do is take off the rear plate here that has the back plane and the fan and all that stuff. And I think there's just some screws in the back here that should allow me to just remove this. So I've got myself number 1 screwdriver here. So let's see. All right. One more screw over here. Okay, and I think one more right there. Okay, so I think that's all the screws. This, yep, comes right off. All right, and so these are, by the way, the switches that are connected to those LED buttons at the front where you can individually turn on and off these slots. Okay, so I got the back plane out. So it looks like there's this mechanical part down here with the arms that eject the drives and all that stuff. That's on a plate that's on this thing here that's attached to the bottom. And I have, what's that, 8 screws that probably hold that piece in. So I'm hoping that maybe if I remove those screws, this will come out. And then there is this mechanism at the top. Yeah, so I could remove the screws over here to remove this plate completely. Okay, let me see here. So let me just open this up a little bit. So when I start drilling this thing, I do want this to be squared off, meaning like I do want this plate in place to give it a little bit of strength so that when I'm drilling down, this isn't just moving around. But I don't want the stuff that's in here to catch any of the metal shavings and stuff. Yeah, I think I could probably get away with just removing these 6 screws, and I think that's going to come out. So let's give that a try. Okay, let me just kind of compare. All right, so these screws are not, I don't know if you can tell, but they are not the same length. So I'm gonna have to keep these separated. Okay, so I can already feel this thing's coming loose. So I guess if I'm gonna be smart about this, I should probably do it sideways so it doesn't just fall down. Okay, one last screw here. Okay, so yeah, it came off. So let me just keep these screws separated and slide this thing out. Okay, so here's that plate, and let me just keep that together. Oh, okay. All of the light tubes for the buttons just kind of fell off. Ooh. Okay. Not really. There's a bunch of springs in here, probably for the light tubes. They're probably to, okay, I got two of the springs totally coiled together. I'll kind of handle that later, but there are probably 5 of them, I'm guessing. Oh yeah, I hear something. Okay, there's another spring, so that's 3. Okay, there's 4. And thinking there probably is one more somewhere in here. I don't know. I'm not even sure where the springs go. I assume it has something to do with these light tubes, because when you press on these, they kind of spring back. Yeah, I don't know where that spring went. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I have all 5 springs. All right, so they're all there. Yeah, how I put that together later, not really sure at this point, but let's keep going. So I want to remove this mechanism here, where this stuff where the drive slides in, and the eject arm for the hard drives. And so yeah, I think I'm just going to remove these screws and hopefully it comes right out. Alright, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so these look like the shorter screws, like the other side. So these screws that hold the back are longer, but the screws that hold the top and bottom insides are, I think they're going to be the same. So I'm going to leave that screw alone until the very end, because I think it's just kind of lightly holding this up right now. Okay, so I'm going to put it on its side to remove the last 2 screws. Okay, I can feel something just shifted inside. So let's see. Oh. These levers almost feel like they're spring-loaded, but I don't think they actually are. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, it's, yeah, it's coming off. Let's see, what's the best way to take this out? Maybe like, well, there are these tabs, so probably pushing it that way would be best. Huh, okay, so a little hard to get it out this way because there's a lip right here and over here. So I'm kind of wondering if I have to remove this top plate, at least temporarily. Let me try that and then just kind of remove it out this way. Okay, so these are also the short screws, kind of like these. I'll keep these separated because I'm going to put this back. I'm holding on to it because I know this is going to fall off once this last screw comes off. Okay, so there we go. So there's that top panel. So I'm going to figure out, I still need to figure out how those springs work there. But okay, anyway, I think so. I can lift this up probably. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And the whole mechanism comes out. Okay. So let me leave that over there. All right, so now all we have is the bare cage, but I do want to put this back on again so that I have a little bit of rigidity when I'm drilling on this thing. So, all right, let's put these screws back in. Okay, and the other side. Okay, so now I think we're ready to start drilling into this thing. So let me go get my drill bit and we'll start drilling into this thing. All right, so I'm starting out with a smaller drill bit just to kind of get a pilot hole into this side here. So I guess we'll get started. Okay. So far so good. This is aluminum, I believe, so it's fairly easy. And then the two holes here. Alright, so those are the holes. This one is a little off, I think, but you know, this is not going to be super accurate anyway. The other side, I'll leave that one for last because I'm not really sure how. I might have to drill that at an angle first and then try to straighten it out. Alright, so let's get started with these two right here. Alright, and one last one, which is this one. I'm gonna go in at an angle here. Alright, so I'm gonna change drill bits to the size that I think it's the same as these screw holes right here. So we'll enlarge all those holes up. Alright, let me start on the other side first. So we're just going to go ahead and enlarge these holes, the pilot hole. So that's pretty much it. Hoping I did this right, and actually it's gonna work. I guess I should go get the HP Z820 and try to fit it. All right, let me go get the HP Z820 and we're gonna try to fit this in, just see if the pins will lock in these spots. Otherwise, maybe I just enlarge these holes a little bit more. All right, guys, so I've deburred the, let's see if you guys can see that, the holes on the back side. Scratched it up a little bit over there, but anyway. Okay, so we're gonna try to fit this cage in and see if it locks up correctly. So there it's hitting the pins, so I'm gonna pull the pins back and see. All right, it locks in. I don't know if you heard that click, but yeah, I think it's locked in. I think I can feel the tips of the pins in the holes here. So yeah, just check this out. It's not going anywhere. This is locked in now. So it worked basically. That's awesome. All right, finally, I feel like I'm making some progress here. Yes, all right, so I can take this out. Yeah, this is solid actually. I was a little concerned that maybe it might be a little loose, but this is actually really solid. So as you can see in the front here, I mean, this is sticking out just a tiny little bit, but I mean, you're gonna hardly notice it. It almost looks like it should fit that way. And frankly, there's no other way to do this because the back of the cage is hitting up against the dim slots there. So this is the only way to get this to work that I can think of. So all right, let's go ahead and unlock that, and let's put this Icy Dock back together again. All right, so I'm actually kind of getting a little excited now that this actually fits. I wasn't really sure that the holes would be in the right spots. I mean, I did measure and all that stuff, but I'm real excited that it locked in really tight and this thing was not going anywhere. So really looking forward to getting this all together. So first thing I want to do is I got to figure out the mystery of those springs that popped out of here. And I think the easiest way to do that is to just take this cover out so I can work on this by itself. So let me go ahead and take the screws out again. Yeah, you know, along the way with this project, I did kind of have my doubts. I had concerns of whether that Icy Dock would actually fit in the Z820 after all the trouble I went through with cutting off the tabs and stuff. But, oops. Okay, anyway, that's okay. All right, so here is, let me get one of the light tubes. So the way this goes in, I think, is like this. And so there's this part that sticks up right there. And I think that presses up against the switch on the back plane. So this moves back and forth like this. So I'm kind of thinking the springs were somewhere in here, right? And it looks about the right length. I could probably fit the spring in there. And so I think the spring is meant to, I don't know which way it's supposed to, like if it's going to be on that side or on that side. If it was on that side, these would be sticking out a lot more. So probably not, probably more this way. And yeah, so okay, so I think it's this way. All right, so I think the springs go in. Well, I mean, kind of just fell right in there. I don't know if you guys can see that, right? So with the plate over it, it'll hold that in, and Yeah, I think that's the way it's supposed to go. All right, so let me continue to place the other ones here. Ugh. All right, there. Okay, and then just put the springs in there. All right, so all the springs are in, and then there's this plate, and I think this just goes on top like that. And so with this down, yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so I gotta flip this over. I got my screws here. I got to flip this over without this falling out because I don't want the springs to pop out. So holding it in. Let's get one of these screws here on my screwdriver. And let me just do the middle one here. Okay. One more screw. This is when I wish I had an extra hand. Alright. Alright, so with the two middle screws in, I think it shouldn't fall out or anything at this point. I hope that's right. I mean, I guess worst case I could disassemble this and put the spring on the other side. But alright, anyway. Okay, so I think that's back the way it was. And so let's put this. Oh, no, hold on. I gotta put the other side in because that won't come out. So and okay, these things have to be, well, I think they have to be, okay. How is this supposed to work? Not exactly sure. There's this plastic piece right here that seems to be holding some of this stuff together, and it seems a little fragile, so I'm kind of nervous that I might bend it the wrong way or something. Is that it? Oh, okay, there we go. I think that's in position. I just need to attach the screws, I think. Huh. Alright, but the screws are not lining up, so that's not good. Oh wait, no, okay. So, just looking at the back here, see the screws are not lined up really well, but I just kind of tweak this just a little bit. Alright, so yeah, like that. Alright, so now you can see the screw holes are lined up. And so I just have to find a way. It's a little awkward to hold this. So I need to find a way to hold this. Again, I wish I had a third or fourth arm right now. Let's get at least one or two screws in here. I'm sure that'll start. That'll help to just get a screw in here. first. Okay. And okay, so I think that's holding it in place. All right. Now I can use both hands. It was a lot easier to take it out than put it back in, I think. Okay, I think that's it. Let's just check these. Yep. There's. Okay. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, so let's put the top on. Just lay it sideways. Oh. Almost lost you there. Alright. Alright. Alright, the other side. We're almost there. Okay. I think that's locked in. So these. I'm not really sure if I put the springs in the correct way, but I guess we'll put the back plane on and see if it feels right. Alright, so I think it goes in like this. So let me just hold this in and see if I... Oh yeah, okay. I think that's right. Alright, so let's put the screws on. I'll start with this one. Alright, that's it. We are done modifying the Icy Dock. Alright, let's go put this thing in the Z820 finally. The moment of truth here, so let's put this guy in here. Alright, that's where the locking pins hit the back, so I'm gonna pull them back, and that locks right in. Oh man, that's sweet. Alright. Yeah, and this thing is not moving. It's locked in good. So yeah. Alright guys, finally. See, this is what I was intending to do on that unboxing video. Show you guys that you can use this in the Z820. Not realizing it was going to be such a project. So, alright, well, I'd love to keep going here, but it's actually really late. At the time I'm recording this video, it's way past midnight now. And so I think I'm gonna end the video here. I know we're gonna drag this out for another video. Sorry about that guys, but it's just getting a little late and I need to get some rest. But hey, this is in there. All I gotta do now is get the cabling, the SATA cabling, power cabling, get some hard drives, and boot this Z820 up with this installed and show you guys that all of this is working right. And so I'm gonna have 4 of these drive bays connected to the onboard LSI SAS2308 controller that's on the Z820, and I'm gonna have the 5th one connected to the SATA port. I'm hoping that's gonna work. you know, we're gonna find out. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you didn't like this video, well, you know what? Give me a thumbs up anyway, because I finally got the Icy Dock installed in the Z820, right? That deserves something. All right, so if you want to see where this project goes next, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next video. Also, if you want to support this channel, go check out my eBay store. I'll leave a link down in the video description. I've got the best selection of pre-flashed IT mode HPA SAS controllers for your ZFS, TrueNAS, or Unraid builds. So go check out the link down in the video description. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.